Hey there, everybody. It's Steven from Timebite, and I got something for you before you listen to this great podcast. It's about to hit you right in the face, and that is that you should go check out Anchor, man. This website helps you for free start you up with any podcast that you would like in your little head to be making. Because you can record from your phone, you can record from your computer, man. You can distribute on iTunes, on Spotify, wherever your little heart desires, because your little grubby hands deserve it anyway. You can. There's no minimal listenership to get yourself started with getting anything that you want done, and everything's just in one place, man. Just go check it out. It's Anchor. It's the Anchor app or Anchor.fm on the internet. So, hopefully you enjoy the podcast. You are now listening to Timebite, hosted by me, Stephen Clark. Hopefully you enjoy the podcast. Hey there, everybody. It's your boy Steve. Once again, for Timebite, episode 87. 87 episodes. I am so close to 90. Now, the person I have on today, you're going to remember because I am on before, and he was pretty awesome. As you know, he collects arcade stuff. He doesn't make arcade stuff, but he buys parts to make arcade stuff and not really mod them or anything, but he makes it really cool and stuff. The last time he was on this podcast was episode 32, and now we're at 87. I had to, and to be honest, I'm going to be honest with all of you talking to you right now. I had to legitimately look this up while I'm talking right now. I literally looked it up at this moment while I was talking, looking at that fact. But yeah, quite a leap. He hasn't been on for some time. So today I'm with Moomert1 again. And I want to do this because I was never able to do this before. Welcome to my latest podcast.
Thank you very much.
Now you can say that someone tribute your intro for you, and it was me.
That's a good one.
No problem. So just to be fact, the last time you were on the podcast was February 6th. Of last year. And do you know what?
Yeah.
And funny enough, it's February right now. It's February 15th.
Yeah. So almost a little over a year.
Yeah, so I've known you for a year at this point, so. Alright, so it started off, man. Your channel was rising, and then it fell, and then it rose again. What happened?
Well, late last year, I was uploading as much as I could, and it had to all do with the COPPA situation. And because there was still a huge gray area, and many people, didn't know what they were going to do, including myself, I decided to upload as much as I could, and then pretty much just shut off my channel just to be safe.
What made you make the decision that I'm going to re-upload all of it again?
Well, one, I still had a bunch of material left over, and the other reason is, I continue to do a lot of, I don't want to say investigating, but homework, trying to see, just what would happen, who's affected, and right now I'm, still in the 50-50 area, but I think I felt it was safe and stuff again. I am a smaller channel, and I've seen the impact that it's had on some bigger channels. So I'm hoping that, if anything does happen, it's going to affect those big guys who can, probably actually stick up for everyone and fight back and try and get some things changed.
Yeah, because if my personal YouTube channel and the Cyber Timebite YouTube channel and the Cyber Timebite Network YouTube channel can all stay alive when you were dead for a little while, I think you're just going to be just fine.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, you never know nowadays, but that's the best we could hope for.
So, I don't think we really talked about this in the last time we talked, and that was your crazy obsession for Disney. Um, so from your videos, as I could tell, Disney this, Disney that, Disney everything. Tell us why are you such a big Disney fan, and like where did it come from? Why did you start collecting all this stuff for it? Like, how did Disney become such a huge part of your life?
Hmm. That I really don't even know myself. I've always enjoyed Disney as a child. I may have went to Disneyland maybe two, three times. Um, I think I can remember back in the day, when the Disney Channel was out, your cable company sometimes would give you the Disney Channel, for free for like a week. And I can remember those times. I was just became enthralled with everything Disney. And then, as an adult, you got money, you could do what you want, go to Disneyland as much as you want, and I just, I don't want to say became infatuated, but it became a greater deal to me. And so, pretty much anything Disney, anything from the very beginnings to the latest stuff, I really enjoy.
Is there something that Disney made that you don't necessarily enjoy?
Um, I haven't really thought about it.
Because I really like Big Hero 6. That's probably, besides Toy Story, Big Hero 6 has got to be my favorite Disney film made. Probably.
Probably my favorite of all time would probably be The Lion King.
Ah, The Lion King. Everyone's favorite wake up alarm. So don't lie. Is that your alarm every morning?
Unfortunately, no.
It would surely wake you up.
That is true.
So,
But I can't for the world remember much about playing them. I know I did rent them. I can't even remember if I enjoyed them.
so, yeah, I'm pretty sure down the line you'll play him again and be like, I'm a huge Disney freak, so this is going to be awesome.
I probably will eventually. You never know.
So, can you tell us the meaning behind? Well, you probably explained it. This is probably flying over my head right now. But can you explain the meaning of what each of those lanyards hanging on your wall mean again?
So those are just lanyards. The lanyard itself is just a nice little holder for the Disney tickets or the annual passes. But you also got pins that you can collect. And so every time I go to Disneyland, I try and collect one or two pins, and I just attach them to the lanyard. And each year, I'll start a new one.
So, did they just give it to you as a memento, or do you just gotta find them, or how you get them?
Oh no, you got to buy them. I mean, there's no free stuff at Disneyland. Everything's gonna cost you. The pins themselves will cost you anywhere between $8 and $12.
Do you think it's a little pricey for a pin?
Well, there's a variety of designs. For some people, it's worth it. For some, it's not. It's weird if you ever go to Disneyland. You look in the little corners, within the park, and you'll see people who basically have set up shop right there in Disneyland, trying to their sell or trade their pens that they've been collecting for a lifetime.
It is a small world after all for the budget.
Yeah.
it, no, I mean, I never been to Disney myself. Down Disney.
Well, in downtown Disney, there's a variety of stores and places to eat. It's not like a mall type store. It's more of just like probably everything is outdoors. So they'll have like a clothing store for women that sells nothing but handbags and dresses of Disney characters. Um, there's a Starbucks there. Of course, there's a Starbucks everywhere. And, it's not the greatest of stuff to buy, at least, for a guy. I think it's more geared towards women because there's makeup stores there. I think there's a jewelry shop there. But if you go at night, there's usually a live band playing, so that can be interesting.
Because I never been to Disney World. You probably had, but like I never been to Disney World. But I hear at Disney World in their downtown Disney they have a Hot Topic.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Do they have one at Disneyland in their thing?
Not that I've seen.
I mean, have you been to Disney World?
No, but that is one of my something on my bucket list.
Does because from what I hear, this is what I heard for my whole life is that Disneyland's smaller than Disney World.
Yeah, I think for Disney World, you could be there a week and still not, go and do everything. That's what I hear, anyways.
Are you saying Disneyland you can be there for a day and just have seen everything?
If you're really time conscious, you probably could. Me and my wife will go there. We have annual passes, so sometimes we'll just go there, eat, do a couple rides, and then head out. And it's no big deal.
How about Universal? Do you like Universal?
Never been to there.
Would you want to?
I'd probably visit if I got like cheap tickets.
Yeah, that's where I want to go. I want to go to Universal. Universal is my jam. Not saying I want to go. Not saying I wouldn't visit Disney. I would want to, but I would like to go to Universal first, if that's okay. But funny enough, since we're talking about Disney, as you know, Fox owns Disney, or Disney owns Fox now.
Yeah.
And get this. This podcast, right here, right now, could possibly, quite possibly, be owned by Fox.
Interesting.
It's because I'm worked under a deal now with I'm not worked under a deal, but I talked to this guy who has contacts with Fox, where Fox is looking for shows for one of their networks, and if Fox likes my stuff, I will freaking be like, I'll freaking like be on one of their networks and even be part of their team. So quite possibly I'll be working for Fox.
Very nice.
Which means I'll be owned by Disney, which means I'll become a Disney product. So be prepared to find cyber Timebite pins for your next lanyard in the near future. I don't know. But real quickly, I gotta say is, but if you don't want to wait that long, which I'm pretty sure you don't, make sure to buy my merchandise, man, at redbubble.com, where you can buy the sport t-shirt, and it's not free, but not as pricey as you would have got at Disney. No.
Doing some promotion.
Yeah. No, because I legit have my own merch for the podcast if you are generally interested in having it, but no. So I saw your video of the popcorn thing, what is that, the Millennium Falcon popcorn thing?
Yeah, Millennium Falcon.
So, like, do you just open up the thing and the bucket just sits on the inside?
You mean the popcorn?
Yeah, like your popcorn bucket. You just open up the doors on top of the Millennium Falcon. You just place your bucket in there and you hold it like that.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to work. I actually got it and I'm using it as a mount or as a topper for the arcade one up. That was the whole intention for me to purchase it in the first place.
But did I mean like where do you had to buy that at the park? Like where at the park did you have to buy that?
So that one is in order to get that one, you have to go into Tomorrowland, and it's more towards the back, past the Star Tours attraction. And there's a little popcorn stand, and look for the long line, and chances are that's it.
Gee, like gee, I wonder what tomorrow looks like. Oh, there it is. No, I mean like you guys have that giant Star Wars thing too, right? With the giant Millennium Falcon outside the ride.
Yeah, that's in the Star Wars land.
Yeah. Wait, is Tomorrowland and Star Wars Land two different things?
Yeah, yeah. So in Tomorrowland, there's the original Star Tours ride, and then in Star Wars Land, it's like being in a Star Wars movie with the way they have it laid out.
You could be a Jedi today or not, whatever you prefer.
Exactly. And I think Star Wars Land is geared more towards this latest trilogy,
Yeah.
whereas in Tomorrowland, for the Star Wars stuff, it's geared towards more the original trilogy.
I mean, like it sounds neat. It sounds pretty cool. Um, what what I if I say what you like most about Disney, you're probably gonna say everything. But like, what is the what is the what am I saying? I think it's initiative, but yeah, I think it's initiative. What's that thing that makes you keep going to Disney? What's that thing that's always driving you to keep going? That makes you that doesn't make you think, oh, I've been here already like 5 times before. Why should I go 6 times or thing?
Well, it's probably the fact that when we go there, me and my wife, it's usually just us. Um, for us, it's the place where we can just not have to worry about work, we not have to worry about bills, just leave life behind, go there, and just enjoy ourselves. And yeah, it's not free. A bottle of water is almost $5,
Oh God.
but we just go sit, people watch if we want to, get some pretty good food, ride some attractions. The the nostalgia of yesteryear, and even seeing little kids and their eyes light up as they see Mickey Mouse walk by. So for us, it's just a place where we can just go and have fun and leave worries behind.
That really does sound like a really like a really good time. Honestly, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Do you have you ever wanted have you ever wanted to go to like Six Flags or Cedar Point or something like that?
Yeah, I've been to Six Flags a couple times. I'm really not a roller coaster type person. That's another reason why I like Disneyland. It's not really roller coasters; it's more rides.
Yeah, but is it?
Whereas roller coasters are fast and get your heart pumping, and these are just sit back, relax, enjoy the scenery type things.
Oh, isn't Space Mountain a roller coaster?
That is true, and I only go on there in the last 10 years, maybe twice.
It's just like that's basically Ric Flair, Space Mountain. Oh, speaking of Ric Flair, you're a wrestling fan?
I used to be. I haven't watched any wrestling programs in probably 8, 9 years.
I feel like I asked you that last time, and I forget if I did, but I'm sorry if I did, and I'm repeating the question. but but yeah, I mean, like I'm a huge fan. And I know for a fact in Disney World, when WCW was still in business, they did Nitro down there in Disney 1 year. I think it was like 97, 96, I think.
Yeah, that actually sounds about right. I remember those years.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did a Monday Nitro at Disney World one time, and I was just like, that's interesting. But then again, they set up the ring in the middle of a pool, so
Yeah, go figure.
so what 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 games have you been playing recently, and what arcade games do you wish you had right now?
Let's see. Well, today I actually just finished a round of Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder. It's one of my favorite games. Obviously, I love playing Super Turbo, my favorite arcade game of all time. If I was to say, what do I wish I had? It's kind of a tough one. Um, Probably another racer.
Like what? Like
Maybe
cruising?
like a Cruisin' or maybe a Rush the Rock. Um, even there's a Mario Kart arcade game, I believe. Even something like that.
That'd be cool. I like cruising. No, I know the Mario Kart one's fun, but I love cruising, man. Cruising's really fun.
Yeah, I had a Cruisin' World many years ago. Played it, enjoyed it, and ended up selling it. Someone made me a pretty good deal on that. Um, but yeah, out here, used arcades are just getting astronomically high,
Well,
and it's not. It doesn't make sense for me to buy something, try and fix it up, sell it, and then lose money on it.
you got to remember you live in California, and California is expensive.
That is very true.
And I'm pretty sure the and let's just be honest, I'm pretty sure what you pay for your house is what you can like you can afford a mansion here in Illinois.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's laughable what we pay here to what we could get elsewhere.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
what's
what we have here, you could probably get a nice, like you said, a mansion and a big chunk of land.
yeah, in Illinois with the price you probably pay for your house there.
Yeah,
And I live in a normal sized house with a semi chunk of land. well, I mean, I don't have like a big chunk of land. I just have a really good, decently sized backyard and front yard. But
yeah.
um, did so whatchamacallit? How was your Valentine's Day? How'd that go?
Pretty good. You know, just we went out to eat. Went to one of our favorite restaurants.
That's good. Did you guys like watch like the most romantic movie of the day or whatever?
None of that. We went out to a nice dinner, came back because unfortunately we had to work the next day. Or yeah, my wife actually had to get up early and go into work in the morning. But
what you do as a job?
me, I'm involved in aerospace.
Aerospace.
Yeah.
Is that
So I'm the, what is it?
yeah? What is it?
Aerospace is anything that has to do with the government and in terms of airplanes, rockets, stuff like that. Boeing, Sikorsky, these are the owners of the planes that move people around.
That's crazy. That must be a tough job.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of any company that's involved in aerospace, there's a lot of not a lot of certifications. There's certifications that you need. There's rules you need to abide by. Just to give you an example, there's certain aspects that if you lie on a report, you can be arrested by the government.
Holy crap!
Because you're anything we build, it's directly affecting people's lives.
That is nuts. That's like a job you have to be on your toes with, or else you're losing your whole freaking life.
Yeah, you make something that goes up into an airplane that's moving 300 people across the Pacific. Definitely want to make sure it doesn't fail.
I'm guessing you're a fan of Aerosmith then?
Yeah, I'm a fan of Aerosmith. Love them.
Because you do aerospace, so you gotta love Aerosmith, right?
They actually had an Aerosmith pinball machine. Thought about getting it, but decided to hold off.
Oh, speaking of their pinball machine, do you know they have their own arcade game?
I remember they had Revolution X.
Yeah, that was their arcade game. They were that popular. Iron Maiden had their own. It wasn't an arcade. It wasn't in the arcades, but it was for the computer. But they had their own shooter too at one point.
And coincidentally, Iron Maiden actually has their own pinball machine.
Now they do.
Yeah.
And they have their own comic book now, and it's just like they're popular as heck.
Yeah.
But your favorite band is actually Guns N' Roses, right?
That's correct.
And they have a pinball machine. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, they had a pinball machine that came out, I believe, in the early 90s. And there's rumored to be a new pinball machine coming out.
They never got their own arcade game or anything like that, right?
No.
Yeah, they never got that popular. But one band that did get that popular was Van Halen, and they got their own freaking Guitar Hero.
Yep, I remember that.
Did you play that?
That particular one, no. I do remember playing Guitar Hero.
Oh man, Guitar Hero is my jam, man. I mean, I have every single game they have ever made. Like seriously, it was my jam. That's my jam. Are you into like Xbox One, PS4? Are you more old school?
Probably right now I'm a little more old school. Some of the newer stuff I really don't play that much anymore. I actually was playing Super Turbo on PS4 online. I'm probably gonna play the new Doom that's coming out next month.
Yeah.
But right now I do enjoy. In fact, I think the greatest system of all time is the Super Nintendo.
That's my childhood, man. Super Nintendo is my childhood.
Right now, I actually have a retro console that I do play a lot, and that's the PC Engine Duo, and that was the Japanese version of the Turbo Duo.
Do you have American Turbo graphics?
No, but I can play those on the PC Engine Duo that I do have.
That's pretty cool. Do you have anything Neo Geo related at all anymore?
I have a couple carts that I kept, as well as a multi bootleg board. But yeah, Neo Geo. There's some games I really enjoy on those.
So, like, you don't have like a CD, like Neo Geo CD or Pocket or anything like that?
Those, no.
I'm surprised. How about you be like, I have the arcade cabinet, let's just go all the way at this point. Are the cartridges the arcade cartridges, or are they the home cartridges?
They're the arcade cartridges. The home cartridges go for a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. Weren't they like $200, $50 at the lowest back then?
Oh man, when those home cartridges back in the day, when those were coming out at the few stores you could find them, I think the lowest you could find one would be like 150.
I thought it was like $50 at the lowest and like some crazy amount at the highest.
You could find one for like 150. That was good. Of course, that also meant it probably wasn't a very good game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy for the people who actually owned who bought it back then and were crazy enough to collect for it back then.
Yeah.
You had to be like you had to be the Queen of England for you to own that thing.
Yeah, because one game costs just as much as a new console.
So Super Nintendo, you said you have and you love that thing. Do you have Super Bowling for it?
No, I don't.
That game is really good. I remember playing that game growing up. That game was really fun.
Probably see, one of my favorite games for the Super Nintendo, ActRaiser. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
What's it called?
ActRaiser.
ActRaiser?
Yes.
Yeah, I
It
never
was
heard of it.
made by Square Enix back in the day. So it's a half RPG type game and half platformer.
I used to have so many games for it growing up, but when my original one broke, we got rid of the games with it, and so I got another one like years ago. Like I got like a new one years ago, and I only had very few of the games I grew up on, and I bought a couple of others I didn't grow up on because I thought they looked interesting. The games I grew up on were like the original Star Fox, Super Mario World. This one you're gonna find surprising, but Batman Returns or Batman Forever. Everyone
Yeah.
hates it. Everyone hates it, but I like it because I grew up on it. Um,
Super Mario World is definitely one of my favorites. Um, I was lucky enough that my grandparents lived next to a little mom and pop import game store. So I got to look at some of the import games that most U.S. audiences never got to see,
oh,
and that was a trip.
yeah, they sold the Japanese stuff there.
Yeah, and the owners are really cool. They for example, Famicom games you couldn't play on the American Super Nintendo unless you had an adapter or unless you modified your Super Nintendo so that the cartridge would actually fit inside. And the owners of the shop, they were like, "Yeah, I'll sell you an adapter, or just bring us your Super Nintendo. We'll modify it for free."
And is that what you did?
Yep. And the reason I did that is because I was able to. I actually bought Street Fighter 2 for the Famicom, which at the time came out probably, I'd imagine, 6 months to a year before U.S. audiences got it.
But how were you? But when you were little, though, how were you understanding the menus and all that stuff? I'm pretty sure they were all in Japanese.
Actually, they weren't. You'd be surprised. A lot of stuff was in English, and then a lot of stuff you really didn't even need to understand the menus.
Like,
You know, you would figure it out. As you progress.
what was your thoughts on Neo Geo games being on like the Super Nintendo and the Genesis? Because as you know, Fatal Fury and Art Fighting had their time on non Neo Geo consoles back in those days, and what do you thought of those ports?
I can remember playing them and thinking, "Hey, these are pretty good." Um, I think at the time I didn't realize just what the big deal of the Neo Geo was, and until years go by and you look and you see you can actually see the difference between a home port of a game and an arcade perfect port of a game. And as a child, you may not have cared too much. In fact, using Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo back then, I'm probably pretty sure I thought it was arcade perfect, and now I can easily see the flaws that it has.
But if you
And so when you have Neo Geo games on other consoles, I do remember thinking, why buy a Neo Geo and spend $300 for this game when you can get it for $50 on your Super Nintendo?
Well, if you really think about it, uh, I know no the Neo Geo originally. Now the Neo Geo, like originally was an arcade machine, but they had their home console, and so technically, when those games were put on the Genesis and their Super Nintendo, it was technically a home console game going for cheap on those consoles, so people didn't have to pay those higher prices.
Yeah,
So technically,
but yeah. I mean, Neo Geo definitely has its place.
it really does. I never owned one. I had the Neo Geo Mini because I can't own the real one for crap. But but if I did have the, I mean, with a job like yours, I'm pretty sure they pay you pretty well, so you were able to get a real Neo Geo. But I don't have a job that good, so I can't get a Neo Geo. But
You know, I got a little story. Back when eBay first started becoming popular, in its infancy,
yeah,
actually before it became popular, one of the things I would do is I realized the potential. So I would go to thrift stores or swap meets and find things I knew people would want, and I, get them, turn around, sell them on eBay, make some money. I was actually in a thrift store, and I found Neo Geo version of Magician Lord, complete in its casing, and I was astounded. I knew just what it was and how much I could get for it, and it had a sticker price of like $29. And I went up to the front and I said, "Are you sure this price is right? This seems like a lot for a used video game." And they looked at it and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's wrong. That's actually like $9.99."
oh
So
what?
yeah, I was able to get it for like $10,
Well, I
and I
mean,
just put it on eBay, and I think I sold it for like a 250 or whatever insane price. But yeah,
wait, isn't Magician Lord like really cheap, really cheap and inexpensive because it's the first Neo Geo game, and plus it's the worst, so it's really cheap.
now Magician Lord, that can get you some major bucks.
And so were you doing it because you were scamming people, or were you doing it because you knew how much it cost?
Well, I knew it was a Neo Geo title, and at the time I wasn't really into Neo Geo.
Yeah,
I didn't know too much about it, but I knew I could get some good money for it. And seeing that it was priced $29, I thought, okay, if they say no, that's the price it is. I'm still going to get it. I'm still going to make a massive profit on it. But let's just try and see if I can get it for cheaper. And it worked.
but like when you went to go sell it online, were you like, oh, were your intentions like, oh, I'm gonna raise the price on this just so I can get lots of money off it, or were you like, I know how much it costs, I'm gonna resell it?
No, I was going to resell it. And I knew that, I think I probably started the bidding like at probably $100 or so, and instantly bids were coming in.
I'm surprised you didn't want to keep it because, dude, you're in a thrift shop and you found a Neo Geo game. Like, why would you want to sell that off? That's a rarity.
And like I said, at the time, it just didn't appease me. I didn't care for it. But, I don't think I'm ever going to see anything like that again.
But if you do, you won't do the same. You won't make that same mistake again. I'm probably thinking.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I could find that again.
Are you into like old computers like Windows 95 and all that stuff? Does that interest you?
Not really. I do know that there are people who go for the older stuff. They're really hardcore. I find it amusing, but at the same time nostalgic because, that's when computers, really started to come into the age of what we would know today. So people who are obsessed with Windows 95, I totally get it.
Because I'm one of those guys, but I don't own one. Like I don't own a Packard Bell with Windows 95 and all that stuff on it. But I love them because that's where I grew up on. and I think this Windows 10 that we're on now is pretty much, does the job and does what it needs to does.
Yeah, I think for me my favorite was Windows XP. That I was sad not sad. I was pissed off when we were forced to upgrade. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Windows XP personally because I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. I don't know. That was a weird period. But no, I mean, on your Instagram, what is weird is that you upload a bunch of photos of like typical Craigslist ad, blah blah blah
Yeah.
for $1,000, and it's just a photo of like a really junk. Like, what's your reasoning behind posting these photos of these really junky cabinets in these typical Craigslist ads?
So obviously it's all cynical, but the point is that at least out here, there's a lot of people on Craigslist or whatever app that's available for selling items, and these people just think they have a gold mine, whether it's arcades or pinballs, and they'll be asking these astronomical prices, and it's just ridiculous. And they're, for arcades, you always hear yep, it was working when I put it in storage last month, and now, quote unquote, it's probably just a fuse. And, I could look at it and say, yeah, no, that thing hasn't been working in 10 years.
Or not working at all because the pictures you see that you post, man, they're not even near, like they're just broken piles of what it's like a cabinet where it's like there's dirt caked on top of it with broken everything, and there's no way of getting that thing back up and restored, but people want money off of it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the stuff I post on Instagram is all cynical and satire, but it's based off of real experiences, and it's just what's that word? Taking it a step further, just for comedic purposes. But yeah, I mean, there are times where I would go and look at a cab, and I could easily tell that a rat or mice had been gnawing on the inside of it, and tell that full of rat urine, and these people just will not budge on the price. They think they have a gold mine, and 5-6 months later they still haven't sold it, and they're still hoping that someone's going to pay these astronomical prices.
See, I know that you post a lot of crappy looking cabs like that are like so crappy because they're designed so horribly. But
yeah,
have you ever looked at any of these and see the glimmer of potential in any of them?
A lot of them, there's no hope. Some of them, there might be a glimmer of hope, but yeah, a lot of the stuff is just funny. I don't know what they were thinking, why they even tried. And then again, those same people are eventually going to put that on Craigslist and try and get $1,000 for it, and it's not worth $100.
Well, when you really think about if you really think about the originator to all those is Pong, because Pong was basically pretty much a giant, elaborate wood grain yellow cab with a TV inside of it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like all those crappy cabs you post, but that one's really nice and everyone loves that one. I'm surprised Pong. I mean, I'm pretty sure you owned a Pong at one point, but it cost you a pretty penny to have. So,
let's see. It's amazing some of the cabs that you actually do find. Some of them are just giant, and they take up a lot of real estate. And I can make fun of myself. I posted some stuff that I had back in the day when I first got started with arcades, And I look at it today, I'm like, I would never own that right now.
Do you put the really big when you were collecting cabinets on the daily? Were you putting the really big ones in your garage for space?
Um, I had some of the big ones that, take up a good 7 feet of space by 4 feet of space. I had those, one of those in my living room.
Holy crap, that's
In
crazy.
fact, if you look, I think at my very first YouTube video, I have a huge, giant arcade cabinet. And if you look close enough, you can see that I took the monitor out, the authentic CRT monitor, and I replaced it with a giant computer monitor.
That's crazy.
So, I can make fun of myself because that's where I came from. But nowadays, no.
What's your relationship with Luke Morse these days?
Luke, he doesn't post as much as he used to. Um, when he does post something, I think he only posts like once every couple months. But I've been in contact with him here and there, mostly just about arcade stuff. Sometimes if he can't find something in Japan or he's looking for a certain board, he'll contact me and I'll tell him, I'll keep my eyes out for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think one time he wanted something purchased on eBay. This was a couple years ago, and he just didn't have an account. And he asked me if I'd be willing to do him a favor, and I said, yeah, sure. And so I purchased it, and he gave me the money, and I sent it off to him.
So, do you guys still talk to this day?
Very rarely. Like I said, just might be a communication once, twice a year via email. Because I do have his home email address. But other than that, it's just mostly communication as far as comments through YouTube.
Do you have any connections with Classic Game Room, or is that only Luke? Or is that only with Luke Morse? Because I remember Luke Morse did something for Classic Game Room one time. I don't know if you did.
Yeah, I don't have any connection with Classic Game Room.
Do you like their videos though? Are you a fan of them?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I think one person I miss who I think has abandoned YouTube for a couple years was I think his name was Your MK Arcade Source, and he was a guy who was just totally into the MK cabinets, Mortal Kombat. Yeah. I think he left YouTube. He hasn't posted a video in probably 2 years, and I think he actually opened up his own arcade with someone.
I never heard of his channel, but that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I always want to own. I think it would be really cool to own arcade cabinets, but I don't have that kind of money. I don't even though I live in a house with a basement. I freaking don't have there's just so much involved that I can't do it. But
yeah.
But that's why if I were to do anything, I would go the arcade 1-up route, because that they're small, they're tiny, supposedly they're lightweight and all that.
Yeah, well, they're. You saw my Star Wars one. I could literally tip it over with a pinky.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's more sturdy than that, but I really want to get that. Supposedly, Golden Tee is getting re-released with a bowling game on it, and that sounds really cool.
Yeah, I've heard of that, or I saw videos of it. It does look interesting. Again, if I somehow manage to get a free one, I would definitely get one, because I am a Golden Tee fan. But who knows?
Did you have a Golden Tee cabinet during your time collecting cabinets?
A dedicated cabinet, no, but I did have I think it was Golden Tee 95 and Golden Tee 98. I think I had them both in one cabinet that I had built at one time.
Would you want to have a dedicated cabinet, or not your thing?
Truthfully, I wouldn't mind having a real authentic one, but those things are huge. As far as an arcade 1-up one, like I said, if I was to get one really cheap and it's got good reviews, I would probably get it, because I do enjoy Golden Tee.
I see that now that you have one, your mind's like, it's not that bad. I can live with this.
It's not that bad. Like for my Star Wars one, I'm actually still surprised. It's holding up, and the yoke is actually pretty sturdy. Would I pay $400 for it? Personally, no. Would I pay $200 for it? Yes. 300, maybe. But you know, you never know. Wheeling and dealing, hustling, might be able to get one ultra cheap and give it a go around for the Golden Tee.
How long did it take you to build the thing, the arcade cabinet?
Uh, they recommend two people. I built it by myself and took a couple hours getting everything laid out, reading the instructions. I think the hardest thing I had was mounting one side to the other. You get it halfway built, you get the front attached, you get the back attached, and then you're having to mount and attach the other side of the cabinet, and just nothing seemed to line up. And so that probably took a good 30 or 40 minutes just trying to figure out what was going on.
Well, isn't the whole thing held together by wooden pegs?
Pegs and pretty much cheap assembly screws.
So basically, it's IKEA furniture.
Yeah, I would say it's IKEA. It's IKEA quality. You tighten too hard, you might strip it.
The marquee lights up on that thing, right?
That one it does.
How does that work? I've seen people build the regular one up, so an outlet marquees. But how do you when you have the lit marquee next in line to be put in the build process of building the thing? How do you install the lit marquee part?
The marquee is real simple. I'll give the way they actually designed the inside of the cabinet. There's slots for everything to fit in. Everything fits nicely, so you really can't insert anything incorrectly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a real simple process. You're building one side of the cabinet, you lay it, you start installing stuff, and it's not really hard to assemble at all. It just can be time consuming.
Is it easy to change the light bulb just in case the marquee light bulb burns out?
That is going to be a no, because from what I can remember, if you would need to replace the bulb or the marquee itself, the light, you would probably have to disassemble one side of the cabinet just so you could get access, and then do what you need to do, and then reassemble everything.
What? There's no back door on it?
Wait, hold on. You know what? Yes, there is. I take that back. Yes, there is. I was trying to remember. There is a back door.
Yeah, because they can't screw you out that hard. they can't screw you out of making something a simple fix that hard to get to.
Well, you never know when it comes to profits in any company. That's why the first ones were so poorly designed.
Well, yeah, I mean, when Arcade One Up first burst on the scene, they were just like, here it is, enjoy it. If you like it, well, improve upon it, and that's what they did.
Well, it was funny because when the Street Fighter 2 one came out, they had Justin Wong endorse it. Now, I don't know if you know who that is. You ever heard of him before?
Justin Wong. Wasn't he the guy who made the game?
No, Justin Wong he's an American professional video game player, mostly plays fighting games. He actually has his own YouTube channel. He is probably considered one of the best overall fighting game professionals there is. He's been around for quite some time, and he endorsed it, and he was giving all these rave reviews for it. And this is a guy who goes to tournaments, and I'm thinking, man, they must have paid him a lot of money to say that, because everything I've seen and heard, this piece, this cabinet is crap.
Well, now they're saying that they're going to re-release. They're going to start re-release. hold on, let me rephrase myself. Um, Supposedly they're re-releasing those first cabinets, but they improved on them, and now they have all lit marquees.
Well, that'll be interesting to see.
Let's hope. Let's hope they go on their word. um, but yeah, Arcade One Up has really worked on their game. Like they're releasing pinball now. They're releasing new games like NBA Jam and Golden Axe and whatever. They're now releasing new countercades and little plug-in to your TV games that like those plug-and-play things, but except Arcade One Up branded, and a giant playable joystick and cocktail tables. Like Arcade One Up, man, they're doing business. These guys are on their game.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give them credit. I think the recent influx in real arcade hardware is probably going to be dying off soon, as these people realize that buying an original arcade cabinet, it's not exactly the smartest thing to do. I mean, you think about it, nobody is making CRT monitors anymore, and if your monitor goes out, you either have to trash it or repair it yourself. There's hardly anybody who's repairing them, and it's not exactly the smartest thing to do. You got to have a passion for it, and some of the newer generation, they're not going to want to deal with that. So our Arcade One Up's a good something for them to go for. I think it's good that I'd rather have them buy that than buy an original cabinet and mess it up to try and make a MAME machine or something. I think it is a good thing.
So I mean, but do you know how to fix an arcade monitor if you had to? Like if you were to like if your monitor burned out and like you turn on the arcade machine, the screen wasn't turned on. Do you know how to fix the monitor itself from the inside to make it working again?
Yeah, well, it all depends on what the issue is. I've actually released a couple videos on my YouTube channel. Right now, they're probably about 4 or 5, 6 years old, of simple monitor fixes that someone could do. And there's more advanced stuff which I won't even get into, and I'll just send the needed parts to someone within the community who will repair it. But the videos that I made a while back, it was because if you had a monitor issue and you didn't know what to do, at that time there were still people, arcade techs that you can find, but they would charge you $150 just to come down, plus any parts. And if they couldn't fix it, they'd take it back with them. Then you'd have to pay them another $100. And a lot of times it would be just a simple fix. And so I made a couple videos which showed just, take 5 minutes and your monitor issue could be totally fixed if you try these certain things. So yeah, depending on what the issue is, I personally could fix it. But then there's things that I won't even bother getting into, and I'll send it to someone who has the skills and the know-how.
Yeah, because I don't know how to do it. Honestly, I wouldn't even know where to start. I probably would break the monitor probably if I cut one cable wrong. I was just like, I would if I had that problem, or if I was going for that problem, I'd be like, hey Moomert1, if you can kindly slice your way. No.
Yeah, and then when you're dealing with arcade cabinets, you got the monitor, power supplies, wiring. The PCB itself could get damaged. So unless you have a real passion for real original hardware, it's not exactly the smartest thing to do, in regards to buying an arcade cabinet. But on the flip side, to this day, I will always recommend the real deal over any port, any emulation, anything.
Yeah.
Because I just enjoy the real stuff.
I know that you own. I know we were talking about. No, the last time I was talking to you about the slick shot, the pool simulating arcade game. But
Yeah.
have you ever owned and played its bowling counterpart?
No. I wanted to. I had a chance to purchase one, but it just got too high.
That I find that crazy, man. I mean, like that was actually legit. I mean, it's probably nowhere near as playing like the real thing, like the real pool, but
Yeah.
it looked like it looked like such a great alternative.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty interesting. I understand why they didn't last long in arcades. You'd have teenagers using the pool sticks, trying to, smack each other, but the concept itself, I really liked.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people. I'm pretty sure I know it came with sticks and a ball, but let's be honest here. Everyone cheated and just used their hand and threw it under the arcade
Yeah,
machine.
exactly.
I'm pretty sure no one hardly used the sticks because they wanted to cheat the system.
Exactly.
Um, if you um so I know you live in California, but like, and it's always warm half the time there. But would you ever want to move somewhere where there is basements in houses so you can, like, have your whole arcade collection in your basement?
Um, it's hard to say because I now like to have my games like within the main house, and so a basement, I it would be like a garage, and that was one of the reasons why I got rid of some of my cabinets. Is because the ones in the garage I just wasn't playing as much as I used to, and so if I have a bunch of them in the basement, that might be the same thing.
That is true. Did you ever own Tekken?
Yes, I actually owned Tekken 3, I believe.
That's a good game. Tekken 3 is a really good game. Is it? Do you like Tekken or are you more Street Fighter?
I'm more Street Fighter. I like more two-dimensional fighters. 3D fighters, I'll mess around with, but I won't spend too much time on them.
Um, does um do you I know we talked about this last time, but you open up your own arcade and you wouldn't be a fan of that. But like, but like if you had the chance to open up your own arcade, but you were really strict on the rules, like 18 plus only or whatever, and you had constant cleaning crew or whatever, would you do it?
I'd probably consider it. You know, it would be interesting. I'd probably consider it. Can't say yes for sure, but it would probably cross my mind.
Because I heard that in Tomorrowland at Disney they have old arcade games there. That's what I heard.
Well, they used to. It hasn't been that way for probably I'd say about 8 years.
What they got rid of that concept?
Yeah, they used to actually have an old arcade in there, lots of vintage stuff. I believe there was even an arcade. It was two-story. You could go up an escalator. That part I'm a little blurry on, but there definitely used to be an arcade there. And then probably about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, the arcade was nothing more than um, some air hockey, a couple cabinets, a couple pinballs, and then I'd say probably about 3 or 4 years ago, they completely shut it down.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. That was you. If that was still around today, they'd make killer money off of that.
Yeah, it was sad to see it go. I mean, especially of what it was back in the day.
That's why they should hire you and be like, "Hey, man, you know your crap," because you legitimately know your crap.
Yeah.
Um, but like, is there any place around you that you know of that has that's like a retrocade or something where you can go there pay $15 and it's free play all day on old arcade games?
Around here, not that I know of. I'm sure somewhere one does exist. I just haven't found it.
We have two of them here in my hometown. Well, not in my hometown, like where I live, but like in towns surrounding mine. It's really cool. And if you have the chance to ever come to Chicago, go to one of them, or if you can, both of them. It's,
Yeah, I would definitely give it a shot.
yeah. The one's called the Underground Retrocade, and that's in the town of, I think, West Dundee. I think it's West Dundee, East or West. I think it's West Dundee. And it's really fun. That's the one I go to the most because that's the one closer to my house. And it's 2 stories, and they have every arcade game you can possibly think of. You know, Space Invaders, Galaga, Pac-Man, Track and Field, Jungle King, Pinball, Donkey Kong, you name it, they probably have it.
Nice.
They have tech in there. They have Karate Champ. I can go on and on. They have Neo Geo. The first time, no, did I ever tell you about my experience when I first touched a Neo Geo for the first time ever in my life?
I don't think so.
Oh boy, this was fun. So I went to the Galloping Ghost arcade, which is the other one that's by my house, but that one's farther away. It's the biggest retro arcade in the country, and people from around the world go there. Like seriously, that's what the owner told me.
Yeah.
And it's huge. And at this arcade, when I went there for the very first time, first thing my mind was blown, obviously, because I was like, oh my god, this is this. And two, in the very back, I see a Neo Geo in person for the first time ever in my life. I have never seen a Neo Geo cabinet ever in life in person in front of me until that very day. And when I saw it, I was just like, can I touch it? I was so excited, man. And then after I touched it, I played it obviously, and it was fantastic. And I love that thing. If I had the money, I would own one myself. What what's your thoughts on like on racing games like Cruising USA and all that stuff that don't have a seat, but you stand up and the pedal is on the floor, but you stand up and you play?
I personally don't care for those. It just doesn't feel natural. If I'm going to get a racer or a player racer, it has to be one where you can sit down.
But
It just allows you to be more, in tune with the game.
yeah, that and a kit. I mean, that's the best way to do it. But if you were still collecting arcade machines and you wanted a racer and you wanted to save space, that's probably been the best way.
That is true.
Do you do you have any plans to just make a whole pinball thing in your house now, since now pinball's become your thing?
Well, I'm hoping to get at least one more pinball machine. Don't know if I'm going to be able to. And then just, go from there. But if I ever do find some good deals on arcade cabinets again, I wouldn't mind getting one or two more, keep as an actual solo cab or something. But like I said, prices out here are pretty high, and what is available cheap is just beyond repair.
Do you get rid of that jukebox you had?
Yeah, we actually started to break down, so we got rid of that thing. I didn't want to invest anything in regards to getting it fixed, so that went off to someone who found it a good home, and they had the the know-how to get it up and running again.
Do you did you get a new jukebox or do you not have one right now?
I don't have one right now. I am on the lookout for one if anything comes up, but again, it just all depends.
What do you think about these? No, because I gotta tell you this one because I found this at FYE. But at FYE, I think they sell them at all of them. But they sell this really cool one. It looks like an old jukebox with the lights on it and everything. But it has Bluetooth integrated in it, and it has all this stuff integrated in it. But like it's like I think it's like really big, and it has Bluetooth on it, and it's like really cool. Are you more into the classic jukebox or into something like that?
I personally prefer the old classic ones. Um, I like being able to see it, load the actual CD, or if you go really old school, the record.
Mm-hmm.
Just adds to the nostalgia. But I really don't have anything against the newer stuff either. But if I was to get another jukebox, I'd probably again go for one that played actual CDs. The downside is having to get a bunch of CDs again.
Wait, did you give them all your CDs in it along with it?
I gave him a good chunk just because I was going to had no use for them, and if I get something new, I'd probably update the songs that were in there, the CDs themselves.
Oh, whereas if you had like 5 Year Gun CDs in there, you're gonna be like, oh no, I gotta collect all my guns again.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard if needed, but it's been a while now, so who knows?
No, you had to give him. No. It's like I gave them to the Mr. Brownstone because he won't leave me alone. I had to do that. I'm sorry. But oh man. What do you like most about California? Besides Disney, what do you like about California the most?
Probably that it's so close that you can go anywhere for entertainment. Disney, the beach, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, San Diego. If you're in Southern California, it's really not too hard to find something to do.
Well, I mean, with everything so expensive and the prices charging you so much, I'm pretty sure they're like, yeah, we'll do this. It's not too hard to start a business here. We can just take everyone's money, Not trying to get heat from the California government. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure like that's just like one of the driving points is that they can just take money from people because California, everyone loves it. It's hot here all the time, and I bet you never seen snow in your life. I'm pretty sure.
If I did, it was probably when I was a child.
Yeah, like that's the thing about Christmas about over there. How do you guys celebrate Christmas without any snow? It's like you get a green Christmas every year.
That is true.
So I'm pretty sure when you guys are listening to Christmas music, they're like, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. And then you're like, what's that?
Yeah, you're not going to see too much snow over here.
Oh, you want to talk about not seeing too much snow? You should look out. If it was daylight right now at my house right now, and you would see out my window, you would be like, how are you surviving?
Wow.
There's a lot of snow outside right now. Because we went through like this, not like a giant snowstorm, but we went through like this whole giant snowfall this past couple of days, and everyone was freaking out and like it'd been like, it's gonna snow so bad, oh my god. It was crazy, dude.
I can imagine.
So I mean, like, do you upload a a house tour every single year on your YouTube channel, or is it just like if nothing changes, I don't need to do one?
I think I've done one every year for the last 4 or 5 years. Because I think something will change. But I guess if there was absolutely no change whatsoever, then I'd probably go ahead and skip it.
Well, I mean, you can still do it for like the new followers or the new or whatever, unless you link them to the old one and be like, "Here's the old one, nothing changed. Here you go."
That's true.
To No, when I was watching your video, you said that you like one of your kids made something for you guys that you have in your house when they were in high school. And I was like, holy crap! I thought your kids were like, when I was watching your videos like a long time ago, I thought your kids were like really little, and now you're saying they made something for you when they were in high school, and now they have kids coming on the way. I was like, holy crap! I was just like, I thought they grew fast.
Yeah, time flies.
I mean, like, but being you know how it is being a parent. I mean, were you collecting these things when you had your kids living at home?
Yeah, actually was.
Wait, did you have to be the parent to be like, don't touch so you don't ruin it or whatever, or were they always polite and careful with your machines?
They pretty much knew better. They knew what they can and cannot touch and what they couldn't mess with. So it really wasn't an issue.
I'm pretty sure that you got your kids because I don't want to assume how many kids you had, but like I'm pretty sure your kids knew that no, it wasn't they knew it. I'm pretty sure you got them interested in the hobby just a little bit, maybe.
They probably had a little curiosity as far as why I was fixing something, or why I would bother to waste time fixing something. What made me want to build a cabinet or buy a cabinet. So there was probably some little interest.
Did they when so like what? So now that they're older now, then and when they come over to the house, did they ever go like, why do you have all these pinball machines? Are they like, that's pretty cool?
They actually like it. They like the pinball stuff more than the arcade stuff.
Well, I mean, pinball. When you really think about it, pinball, is one that everyone can get behind because it's been around forever. And like anyone of any age can just get behind it because there's a pinball machine out there for anyone, because there's ones based off everything: Dungeons and Dragons, cartoons, TV shows, bands, you name it, it probably exists.
Yeah, and then pinball is the one form of entertainment where you can play it, you don't need to be good at it whatsoever, and you're still going to have fun. Whereas a Street Fighter cabinet, you can play it, you're not good at it, you're going to get mad and angry and never want to play it again.
Pinball is kind of in the same category as like baseball as a national pastime almost.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you a sports guy?
Not really too much.
Oh, because I was gonna ask you about the XFL, man. That came back.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm not from Seattle, but the Seattle Dragons are my team because Chicago doesn't have a team, so Seattle Dragons go. And I think they actually won today. They lost last week, but I think they actually won this week.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. They win. Yeah, 14-9. 14-9. No, 17-9? Yeah, 17-9. The Dragons won this week. Yeah. My team wins. But yeah, no, I was going to talk to you about it, but obviously you're not really a big fan of it. I'm not even a big fan of football. But I thought this XFL thing was unique.
Well, maybe it'll last more than one season.
Yeah, yeah, like the first one. The first one only lasted one season and it sucked so hard. But the original one at least had a Chicago team. It just, oh man, it just sucks. um, what what do you have like a secondary hobby outside the arcade stuff that you have? Outside Disney, like outside the Disney and the arcade stuff, do you have anything else that you hobby into?
That's really about it. Just those two items.
That's it.
Yeah, just arcades and Disney.
Well, I mean, they're both pretty expensive hobbies in the first place, so
Yeah, that is true.
because one you gotta pay lots of money to repair and enjoy, and the other one is a lot of money for season passes and the food.
Exactly.
And so your wallet's gonna be saying, "It's a small world after all. It's a small world." That's your wallet singing right there. After all your hobbies are taking its course.
Yeah, literally.
It's a small world. Oh, shut up, wallet. Oh, man. No, I mean, but like, I just found you as like, when I first started watching your stuff, man. I thought you're like, you just had all this unique stuff, and it was like really, really cool. And like I said, I've been watching you for a few years now, and like it was like you, and then Luke Morse, and then like, God, who else? Then like Classic Game Room, and then Adam Korlick and all those guys. Like, I think it really kind of started with you, where it came to me again an interest in just like this arcade stuff. It's like a full on deal of like the insides and the outsides and how they worked and how great they were. And I really think that was because of you. I think, if I remember, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to show when I started out, because if you were considering getting into the hobby at that time, there really wasn't anything around for you to rely on. And so any experiences I had, I wanted to relay to whoever might be potentially interested in the hobby. And, from there it just went on and on.
Yeah, because at one point I was interested in getting in the hobby. But then I figured out it cost millions almost to just get a cab, and just to even be generally interested in doing it. And so I was like, oh man, I do not have the money or the time to do any of this. But then that's when, like, these old school arcades started popping up, and like you can go places to play this stuff, and you didn't have to buy them. And I was like, I could deal with this. But like, if you go to a modern arcade, like a Round One or something modern, I mean, like, yeah, there's not going to be Cruising USA or Cruising World or any of this old stuff there. But if you're lucky, if you like go to like a bowling alley or something, you'll find like a Cruising or something. But that's bowling alleys are the ones that make that they bowling alleys may have small arcades, but they have a mixture of something of every type, I feel.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Do you consider yourself good at bowling?
Not at all.
Not at all.
When it comes to bowling, I'll stick to the arcade bowlings.
Yeah, the arcade, the digital bowling.
Yeah.
I actually figured out in real life and in game. Well, it's because of in game how I know it in real life, but I know how to get a strike every single time. Do you know how?
Nope. That I don't.
Well, here, let me give you a tip for the next time you play an arcade bowler. Then, you know how in the bowling alley there's those arrows in the middle there that point towards the pins. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
So, if you want to strike every single time, I know this for a fact because I've done it like 3 or 4 times at this point, and it works every time. But you gotta roll the ball in between the very top arrow and the right arrow, like the right arrow right next to the very top one. If you roll your ball right in between, like literally right between those arrows, straight down, you'll get a strike every single time.
Interesting.
I don't know if you gotta curve it or anything from that point, but I know if you just go straight down that way, you'll get a strike every single time.
Try that out.
Yeah, try it out, and if you do it like, I know it works the first time, but after you do it the first time, and then after you do it a couple of times afterwards, get back to me, and you'll be like, Steven, I knew that you were right, and I'll be like, I know. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just saying I just know my crap. I always wondered, do you have anything you want to ask me? I mean, because I always asked you stuff, and I always liked your channel. I didn't know if you want to ask me anything that you always wonder about me now that you know who I am and my YouTube and all that.
Right now, no. I could probably come up with something, just not right off the top of my head.
No, it's fine. If you want to know, my YouTube channel. Obviously I don't have any like arcade stuff or anything on there, but like I have like a lot of like Guitar Hero stuff because I played Guitar Hero all the time, and I used to videotape it all the time. I can't do that anymore because my situation doesn't want to apply to that anymore. But excuse me. But like I just have a bunch of random crap on my YouTube channel, and it doesn't make any sense almost. But like I'm pretty proud of my content though. I mean, some of it may be really shabby and crappy, but I'm really proud of my content. I really think so. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
My most highest videos though are when I reviewed a jukebox, like a juice box, which is an old media player that was around back in like the early 2000s, and basically it was the cartridge counterpart to the Video Now. And if you remember, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cartridge counterpart to the Video Now, and I've reviewed it on my YouTube channel, and it got me like 1.5k views, I think. And, but like the lighting was wrong. My voice was so bad. The comments I got on that video were like we can't see we can't see what you're reviewing, and one person complained about how they can't hear what I was saying, and another one complained about how there wasn't enough light. And then my second most popular video is when I reviewed these Fairly Odd Parents books that I used to have that I don't have anymore, but like they were like these old, like they were basically episodes put in book form, and right. And I reviewed them, and supposedly that got me a lot of views. I was thinking maybe I should turn my channel into a retro review channel because this seems to be getting me the views.
Yeah, there you go.
And I also did one Neo Geo X, that crappy portable one that they made that no one liked.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I did a video on that, and that got me a lot of views. I had people commenting on it saying like, "Can you talk like?" No, they were not asking me to talk about more, but they were like, I got to pick this week. Like, there was actually legit comments of people interested in it on my video. I was just like, holy crap! I don't know why I haven't decided to turn retro review at this point. I haven't done it since, but I should.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah, here comes my next video. No, here comes my next video. It's going to be yeah. Today I'm reviewing Moomert channel. I'm totally just gonna talk about his cabinets and totally trash on his couches because I can.
well, I think this episode is going to have to come to an end. I got some business I need to take care of.
Yeah, sorry, man. No, sorry if I've been keeping you, man. We've been going for an hour 29. I'm sorry about that.
No biggie. But it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun catching up with you, man. It's really been a good one, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
maybe we can do this again sometime.
yeah, I don't mind going for a free time. I mean, it'd be so awesome we could do it in person the next time, but I don't know when that will be. But that would be really cool.
Hey, you never know.
So yeah, let me advertise my stuff and I'll let you series yours. Thank you everyone for listening to episode. What number did I say again? 87. 87.
Yeah.
Episode 87 of Cyber Timebite. Wow, 87 episodes. That's amazing. But you can follow me on Twitter at NostalgiaVamp. Follow me on Facebook at Cyber Timebite. Buy my merchandise at redbubble.com under Crash Steven Gear, or even you know that the spork is the most powerful of them all. This guy Boomer doesn't know or wield the power of spork on his t-shirt yet, but soon enough he probably will. Now tell people where they can find you and all your stuff.
Well, for those who are interested, you can find me on Instagram and YouTube, both under Moomert1. That's about all you're going to find me under. Watch it, view it, subscribe. If you don't like it, I really don't care.
What's your next video?
Let's see. I think my next video is gonna be on possibly an arcade super gun.
Is that the name of the game?
No, but for those of you who actually know what it is, you'll be surprised. And for those of you who don't know what it is, you're gonna find it pretty interesting.
Do you think
that should come out in a couple weeks or so?
Do you think for a special Cyber Timebite request, you can do it? You can do a review or something on I don't know, on something Golden Tee related if you could.
Yeah, I would definitely do something on that.
Yeah,
but maybe it might be in the future.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you everyone for listening to the podcast, and from me and from the guest here, I hope all of you have a great day. Have a nice one.